So let's do the chanting straight off. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Buddham saranam gacchami, dhammam saranam gacchami, sangham saranam gacchami, dudayambi buddham saranam gacchami, dudayambi dhammam saranam gacchami, dudayambi sangham saranam gacchami, tadayambi buddham saranam gacchami, tadayambi dhammam saranam gacchami, Tatayambi Sangham Saranam Gacchami. Namo Buddhaya, Namo Dharmaya, Namo Sanghaya, Namo Buddhaya, Namo Dharmaya, Namo Sanghaya, Namo Buddhaya, Namo Dharmaya, Namo Sanghaya. I take refuge until I am enlightened in the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. Through the positive potential I create by practicing the six paramitas, may I soon attain enlightenment in order to benefit all sentient beings. I take refuge until I am enlightened in the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. Through the positive potential I create by practicing the six paramitas, may I soon attain enlightenment in order to benefit all sentient beings. I take refuge until I am enlightened in the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. Through the positive potential I create by practicing the six paramitas, may I soon attain enlightenment in order to benefit all sentient beings. May all sentient beings have happiness and its causes. May they be free from suffering and its causes. May they never be parted from the happiness beyond suffering. May they abide in equanimity, free of bias, attachment to the near, and aversion from the far. I shall cause this. Great compassionate Buddha, please inspire me to be able to do so. Reverently I prostrate with my body, speech, and mind, and present clouds of every types of offerings, actual and mentally transformed. I confess all of my negative actions accumulated since beginningless time, and rejoice in all the virtues of all holy and ordinary beings. Please remain until cyclic existence ends, and turn the wheel of Dharma for all sentient beings. I dedicate the virtues of myself and others to the great enlightenment. However innumerable all sentient beings are, I've vowed to save them all. However inexhaustible my delusions are, I've vowed to extinguish them all. However immeasurable the Dharma teachings are, I've vowed to master them all. However endless the Buddha's way is, I've vowed to follow it completely. Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum. Tayata Om Gati Gati Parasam Gati Bodhi Soha. Tayata Om Gati Gati Parasam Gati Bodhi Soha. Tayata Om Gati Gati Parasam Gati Bodhi Soha. So now let's do some meditation. Initially to release the tension in the body. So get yourself comfortable. Bring your mind inside the body, and from the bottom to the top, release whatever tension you may have and that you can release. So let's do this for a short while in silence. When you've done this, scan the body briefly again, just to see if there's any leftover tension that you can release. And now bring your focus to the tip of your nose initially. And the object of the meditation, as per usual, is the feeling of the breath as you breathe in your nose all the way into your lungs and then back out your nose again, and follow the feeling of the breath. As you breathe in, you may notice that it's quite cool on the back of your throat as it passes it. And then it goes past the bronchial area, into the lungs. They fill with the air, they expand, stomach rises a little. When you breathe out, they compress, so stomach drops a little. Then goes past the bronchial area. As it passes the throat on the way out, it's quite warm after being inside the body. So breathing in, breathing out. These extra details are to help you focus on the feeling of the breath. And also this one too, if you like to practice it, and that is counting the breaths from 1 to 10. So one in breath and one out breath is 1, and so on. Don't count past 10, because we don't want the counting to become the focus. If you get distracted on the way towards 10, go back to 1 at that time. So if any mental activity arises, such as thoughts, emotions, and the like, don't cling to them. Don't add to them. Don't grasp at them. Also, don't try to force them away. And don't deny them. But simply and naturally let them go as you replace your mind back onto the breath. And if your mind starts to become dull or fuzzy, sleepy, then wake it up a little bit by refocusing on the breath more brightly. So let's practice like this in silence for a little bit. Breathing in and breathing out. Focusing your mind onto the feeling of the breath. Focusing on the most important physical thing that we do moment to moment. The breath is always with us, so there is always an object of meditation right there. To know we can feel pleased with ourselves and fill ourselves with universal loving kindness. Utilizing the visualization technique of filling our whole being with the white light. Filling ourselves with friendship, appreciation and respect and gratitude, and also forgiveness, acceptance, non-violence, harmlessness, and so on. All of these qualities can fit under the umbrella of universal loving kindness, or metta, or maitri. Fill yourself with so much universal loving kindness. Really feel it, that it now overflows and radiates outwards from your heart center, this white light, to other living beings, initially your loved ones, family and friends, filling them with the white light too, the universal loving kindness. Along with this, wish that they are happy and have the causes of happiness. That they are free from suffering and the causes of suffering. And that they are peaceful. And now you can also include those you may regard as strangers, people that you're indifferent towards, and do likewise. And also extend to those you may regard as enemies, those people that behave in such a bad way, maybe in groups or individuals, whether you know them or not personally, or even some people that you just may find irritating, hard to be around. Right now, you are undoing this bias, developing a mind more of equanimity by filling them and extending the loving kindness to them in the form of the white light. So do likewise as you did with the strangers and the loved ones. And now beyond human beings alone, let's extend this loving kindness out further and further distance-wise, starting around your immediate area to all sentient beings. Sentient beings that live on the land, fly through the air, live in the waters. Sentient beings born from wombs, from eggs, from moisture, or through transformation, whether you know about them or not. Different realms of existence. And now extend the loving kindness out throughout your whole state or county, excluding no sentient beings now from receiving your loving kindness. Now throughout your whole country. And all of the countries throughout the world. Those you're familiar with and have an affinity towards. Those that you're indifferent towards, as well as those that you may have some negative feelings towards. And have your loving kindness also pervade throughout all of the waterways, or bodies of water, the oceans, etc., and down to the core of the earth and to the outermost atmosphere. And make a note here that it's important to think of all sentient beings as we go further and further distance-wise. All of the sentient beings, for instance, around your immediate area, excluding none, and throughout your state, etc., etc. This will help you develop this vast mind and the equanimous mind. And the body, chitta, intention. And then realize the wisdom of emptiness. So extending the loving kindness throughout the whole solar system. And galaxy. And universe. And throughout infinite space. And also remaining present here and now too, to recite the dedication prayer. Due to this merit, may I soon attain the enlightened state of the Buddha, so that I may be able to liberate all sentient beings from their suffering. May the precious body Chitta, not yet born, rise and grow. May that born have no decline, but increase forevermore. And may the precious view of Shunyata, not yet born, arise and grow. May that born have no decline, but increase forevermore. And so, first thing I mentioned today, just before we get into the commentary, is, and this is for the benefit of everyone, but mainly to old friends, longtime friends, Dharma students as well, that view the video later. And they also remember my great friend, Roger McLaughlin, who, if you remember, passed away in April. And they're having, this is for their information, because they actually specifically asked whether he's having a funeral or celebration or whatever. Anyway, Roger did not have a formal funeral, and but his family are having a holding a celebration of his life. I think it's next Thursday. I know it's the 12th of June. I'm thinking maybe 11th, but actually I think the 12th of June. I'm unable to go there. It's too far to go. But I will be doing some prayers from a distance, as I've been doing every day, and will continue to do for 49 days, according to the Mahayana tradition, Buddhism. But yeah, the celebration, it's at a music venue, which is appropriate, on the Thursday afternoon, I think, from about 2 to 4. I'm not sure what is happening in the proceedings, but I was reminded by his two daughters yesterday who contacted me and to see whether I was actually able to come along. But as mentioned, I'm unable to. And if you want to know the actual address, etc., then have a look on Roger McLaughlin Facebook page, which is still open. And there'll be a little flyer there explaining what is happening, etc. Okay, so that's the first thing. And what was the second thing? I can't remember now, actually. Oh, that's right. I looked on the screen, and even though we don't have a lot of people these days participating live with us, maybe, 10, 15, something like that on some days. But I looked and just had a little thought. I noticed that Mahendra and Nelon, you have returned from your trip to Sri Lanka, your birth home. So I hope you had a nice trip. Hope you're well and everything. And I just thought about the multiculturalism in our classes. Even thumbs up, well done. And also, of course, Maureen and Dave participate as well, another husband and wife team. And I know that Maureen, for instance, brought up in Australia, but from some Indonesian background. Dave, Australian, white Australian. I know Mum's there from Wales. And of course, myself, I came out here when I was 6 from Wales. We have also Pakistan represented, and then England, originally from Holland, And I can't see, I'm not going to sort of press buttons and stuff. I don't want to mess up the screen. So if I'm missing out on anybody participating live, please forgive me. I know the Australians are involved. A couple of people I mentioned before that were interested in going to Roger's celebration. It's Australian background. Um, and also, of course, many people from overseas, in Thailand and Vietnam and so on, Nepal, India, actually view the class later, either on the YouTube channel, which actually hasn't had a lot of views in recent times. Maybe we need to get on there and make more views. And also some other countries as well. So we're very represented by the world in a sense. I think it's marvelous, you know. Of course, I don't have any, you could say, prejudice or any sort of partial feelings in these ways. I just see us all as human beings, sentient beings, you know, that have created the karma. And so we experience sort of the change in cyclic existence right now, sometimes some temporary happiness, sometimes the suffering. And we have created this, but we also have the potential to purify the minds, all of us, and realize our true nature of enlightenment. So we're all the same in that sense. So, you know, this idea that there's barriers and borders between countries and differences between human beings, whether that be to do with races or languages, religions and preferences for this or that, you know, actually, we're all human beings. And if we can realize that, whether we like each other or not, we can realize that, then this will help us to have a more balanced mind and, you know, sort of give up the things that cloud the mind, such as prejudice and so on. So I just wanted to start out with that today. And by seeing everybody on the screen that I saw before, then, and thinking of others that may view the video later, reminded me to say these things that I often think, you know, but forget to mention in our short classes sometimes. Yeah, because, you know, all human beings, even the non-human beings, sentient beings, you know, we shouldn't harm each other, things like that. Okay, so let's do the commentary. I know we have a little bit of time, and just share with you, first of all, the ones we have left. I read to you last week all the ones we went through and also gave commentary on 4 of them. So from today, for the next, you know, possibly 1, 2, 3, 4, possibly to say 4 to 6 weeks, we'll continue with this commentary on Master Atisha's heart advice. So the 4 that I'm hoping to cover today, since you cannot tame the minds of others until you have tamed your own mind, begin by taming your own mind. Since you will definitely have to depart without the wealth you have accumulated, do not accumulate negativity for the sake of wealth. Distracting enjoyments have no essence. Therefore, sincerely practice giving. Always keep pure moral discipline, for it leads to beauty in this life and happiness hereafter. The ones I'm looking to do next week are, since hatred is rife in these impure times, don the armor of patience, free from anger. You remain in samsara through the power of laziness. Therefore, ignite the fire of the effort of application. Since this human life is wasted by indulging in distractions, now is the time to practice concentration. Being under the influence of wrong views, you do not realize the ultimate nature of things. Therefore, investigate correct meanings. And then for the weeks after that, friends, there is no happiness in this swamp of samsara. So move to the firm ground of liberation. Meditate according to the advice of your spiritual guide and dry up the river of samsaric suffering. You should consider this well, because it is not just words from the mouth, but sincere advice from the heart. If you practice like this, you will delight me. and you will bring happiness to yourself and others. I, who am ignorant, request you to take this advice to heart. This is the advice that the holy being, Venerable Atisha, gave to Venerable Zhang Shupo. And so, and then after we finish the commentary on all of this, then I will give, some overviews, maybe two of them or something. So just first of all, I'll have a look at the first two of the ones I want to cover today. How are we doing? Oh, by the way, I got new glasses. And some of you may look at it and go, oh, so lucky, so good. Actually, it's because I stepped on the old ones. So maybe not so good, maybe not mindful. I didn't realize I'd knocked them off the coffee table and went around the back of the chair behind the coffee table for some reason and stepped on something and realized it was the old glasses. And so they're out of shape, sort of like this, sideways. Still manageable, but because I went to the chemist yesterday for Mum for some medications, decided to get a couple. Actually got two pairs because they were on special. I think it was $30 for two instead of $22 each. So I've got a backup, which is good, isn't it? Anyway, put them on. Not used to them yet, but they're pretty close to the same size lens as, or what do you call magnifying lens as the other ones were. So it's not too bad. So since you cannot tame the minds of others until you have tamed your own mind, begin by taming your own mind. Now, obviously, we can help give good advice, even if we haven't tamed our mind perfectly yet, to others as we go along the path. But it's limited, isn't it? We can't really show 100% by example. So it's really important that we purify our own mind. Like the third verse in the 8 verses of thought transformation. In all actions, I will examine my mind. In the moment a disturbing attitude arises in danger of myself and others, I will firmly confront it and avert it. This is practicing the Dharma, putting down or abandoning that which is harmful. It's those states of mind that bring suffering and the like, and adopting the good qualities of mind. The good qualities of mind from a worldly point of view, but also that lead towards enlightenment beyond the worldly things. Okay, so important that we purify our own mind, not worry about others, but in that same sense, maintain the bodhicitta intention, the great compassionate, loving intention to help sentient beings to purify their minds, to tame their minds, to train their minds, to transform their minds and transcend their minds. But of course, they must do that themselves. You yourself must tame your mind, train your mind, transform your mind, eventually transcend your mind, the ordinary mind. Okay, so really pay attention to being responsible, for your own state of mind, for your own practice, but at the same time thinking of others. Yes, I'm improving. I'm improving for the benefit of others. Okay. So in saying, since we can't tame the minds of others, of course we can't tame the minds of others. Even when we tame our own mind, it's still up to them to practice, but we can be a better influence, the better we are ourselves. Okay. So I'll repeat it just once more. Since you cannot tame the minds of others until you have tamed your own, begin by taming your own mind. The next one. Since you will definitely have to depart without the wealth you have accumulated, do not accumulate negativity for the sake of wealth. Now, this is talking obviously about material wealth, things like monies, houses, cars, whatever, okay? Whatever we have accumulated for ourselves, saved monies, things like this, we obviously can't take with us. So what the master is saying here is do not accumulate negativities. Don't create the bad karma just for the sake of accumulating all of this wealth. If you accumulate the wealth, that's actually fine. Utilize it well, maybe share it with others if you can, encourage others and be a good influence for others, but don't develop this wealth through negativities, through doing bad things, harmful things. So often this is the case around the world. For just a simple example is if you make a profit from something, then someone else is losing something, isn't it? So don't have the intention to do that. Um, don't say, oh, I'm going to rip this person off because I'll get an extra $1 million, which is how, unfortunately, a lot of business works. You yourself, don't be like this. Doesn't matter. You get some wealth, it's fine, but don't accumulate the negativities um, to do this. Okay. I think that'll do for that. Or maybe I can say this. Remember my quote, the share your riches with the paupers, keep your poverty to yourself. And once again, share your good attitude with others. So this is wealthy attitude. So if you use the word wealth as a metaphor for good attitude, bodhicitta intention, and so on, then share this with others. But keep your poverty to yourself means that you keep your negative attitude to yourself so that you can actually look into it. First of all, release yourself from it, but then look into it and see what it is. What is causing this? These are habits and so on. And you can purify that. Okay, but if you continually act out on it towards others, then you're just going to not only reinforce it in your mind um, from the point of view of just thinking about it, but also reinforce it over and over again by adding to it, by engaging in physical actions or verbal actions as well. Okay, so that's that one done. Then the next six actually relate to the six paramitas. Okay, so the first one, of course, we know about six paramitas. We spent about 9 months on it a few years ago. And of course, it's included within the 8 verses of thought transformation and all of the Buddhist teachings. Distracting enjoyments have no essence, therefore sincerely practice giving. So just, having enjoyments, worldly enjoyments that are distracting and blocking the way, obscuring the Dharma path, for instance, they actually have no essence. And sometimes can even be harmful. Okay, so practice the opposite. Give up greed, give up self-centeredness, and attachments, and so on, by practicing the antidote for greed and so on, which is generosity. Generosity can be known as the door to the Dharma. Important to know that. The door to the Dharma. Of course, the ultimate antidote is the supreme wisdom. But we must develop these other paramitas to be able to create the conditions for us to have the mind that is able to break beyond or the ordinary, the worldly stuff, and realize that's supreme wisdom. We have to develop the conditions by being generous and so on. Okay. So I don't know if I'm going to finish these, but you can pick them up next week. No, I wasn't going to finish the whole six, just the first two. So, yeah, so distracting enjoyments have no essence, therefore sincerely, not sincerely, making up words, sincerely practice giving. The next one after that is always keep pure moral discipline, for it leads to beauty in this life and happiness hereafter. Now, beauty, of course, it can think about physical beauty, no problem. It is said that if we are moral and virtuous, that we sort of experience the effects of the good karma by having a pleasant appearance, that others find it pleasing to be around, because we're not going to hurt them, and so on. Okay, so that we develop or we experience the results of a nice appearance. Maybe smell nice, all these types of things. So I think there's like 2 or 3 minutes to go. I'll pick both of these up next week and include them in the six paramitas commentary as part of the commentary within Master Atisha's teachings here. Okay. I was hoping to finish them, but I realized that I really should give you more details, even though you've heard them before. I want to give you the different types of generosity, the different types of morality or moral discipline, as it's called here, and what to pick up, what to put down, and so on. So I know my clock says 5:39. I don't want to be cut off. What does it say at the top of the air? It's only 1 minute 20 to go. So apologize for not getting through all of that, but at least a little bit of an intro for you. Okay. Remember, we have body, which are physical actions, everything that we do physically. We have speech, our verbal actions, and we have the mind, which of course is the chief. Everything begins in the mind. So maintain the positive, or you could say virtuous state of mind, wholesome state of mind, and relinquish the unwholesome states of mind. And then we will protect ourselves from acting out, making it bigger and worse, through our engaging in physical actions that are unwholesome, engaging in verbal actions that are unwholesome, instead replacing them with the wholesome. Okay. And they will start to purify negative karma too. Not only just purify the mind at that time, it's very active. A lot of the time we think we are being quite passive, or people think it's being passive when you are sort of doing this type of practice, but actually it's very proactive. So I rejoice in your goodness as always. I look forward to